Hi, I would like to give you a small demo on how migration work in Xen virtualization. In this test environment, I have used two Dell 850s, and the number one requirement for migration is you should have a shared storage. And so in my case, I am sharing a storage on .12 to .22 using NFS. The best thing is to use a FC or iSCSI shared storage, which are basically more reliable than NFS. But just for the sake of a test, I have used NFS. And another thing is security between the two VM hosts. The best thing is to use TLS or an combination of SSL so that we can do our external authentication also. But to make the things simple in this test environment, I have used SASL authentication. This is basically a password-based authentication, and it does encrypt all the data transfer between both the machine during migration. And most of the time, data is nothing but a RAM content. What happens is from one VM, all the RAM contents, like physical RAM content of that VM, is copied into the remote host on the physical RAM. As the disk is shared, it's not getting copied. It's the same from a shared storage. It will come from the shared storage. So we just have to make sure that whenever he copies all the RAM data, it's secured. So that is one of the reason we have to use some kind of authentication or encrypted authentication between the two machines. And let's start this migration. Here you can see on .12 VM01 is working, is running, and our aim is to transfer or to move this VM01 from .12 machine to .22. As the authentication is already done, I can show you how the authentication is. For example, if I want to, I can disconnect this guy, and I can disconnect this guy. I can remove both of them from my this is just a manager. So manager is, you have to add the virtual host to manage. But for example, I'm just showing you this virtual machine manager can be anywhere. It will be my personal desktop. I just install the virtual machine manager, and then suppose if I want to manage, say, a remote virtual host, what I just have to do is file, add a connection, hypervisor. You can select either Xen. Now this thing is common between a Xen or a KVM. It depends which virtualization you are using. It's the same thing. Here for this test, it's a Xen. So let's the hypervisor is Xen. The connection is, here's the thing. Here there are three things you can do. You can do all three are basically secured. So remote password. In my case, as I have used MD5 authentication using SASL infrastructure, I will use a remote password. Now here is a host IP I have to add, which is, I have two VM hosts, 192.168.0.12. I can say auto connect at startup. So whenever I start my virtual machine, it will start up, or it will be like this, connect. It will ask me for user ID, password, and there you go. I have one virtual machine. I have one virtual host with one virtual machine running on it. If you are local to the machine, you might get a console, but if you are not local, you won't get a VNC console. But instead of that, you can always have console like this way. And just for the test, I have created this ping session to .15. Now .15 is the IP for this virtual machine, VM01. VM01 is .15, which is CentOS 5.5. We can just find it out quickly. It's .15, and that is what we are doing it. And now let's go back into the virtual host. Okay, I want this window here. So let's see. Now this, I still need to add one more so that we can have a graphical representation when the migration is done. We can also do it through command line, but this is more give you more visualization what's going on. And the another host is 192.168.0.22. Connect, same thing. And I have like two here. There is a VM01 I tried migrating previously, so whenever you migrate out, it will shut down the machine. So right now this, you can see it's in a shutdown state. The same thing we can see from here is called XM list. It will show you VM01 which is running, XM list, and here you won't see anything. You won't see. Now here, just for a simplicity, xen host 2 is .22 and xen host is .12. So now here you can see that there is no VM. Now we want to migrate this VM to this host. So just let's start the migration. Click on here, migrate, and 22. Now here, if you have more than 2 v hosts, it will give you here. When you do migration like this, it will give you list here, down list, you know. But here there is only one where I can migrate. So I just select one, and are you sure you want to migrate VM01 from .12 to .22? I say yes. He's doing migration. You can see here, as well as you can also see here what's happening. It says migrating VM01, and here I can see VM01. I can see something going on. It came up. Initially there was no VM0. Now there is VM0. Here it's running, shut off. Let's see what happens. This might take a while. Let's see here also whether what happens to this window. The machine is still live, even though it's migrating, it's still live. At one point, you will see some latency in this machine. Let's see again. VM0 is in a block state. Here is in a, okay, now here I can see there is no virtual machine in this box, so it's .12. Now I told you xen host is .12. Now .12 is shut off, and on .22 it's running. Here you see there is no downtime, you know. So this is basically a live migration. That's it pretty much, folks. If you have any question, let me know. Thanks.